Imagine being 12, puberty's kicking in, your teachers are weird, and your school has a deadly snake living in the plumbing. Welcome to Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The year Hogwarts basically said, meh, what's a few petrified kids between friends? Oh, and Ron's still ginger, so clearly tragedy continues. Today we're retelling the entire Chamber of Secrets story, just faster, funnier, and with 90% more sarcasm than Professor Snape on a bad hair day. Stick around, because by the end you'll understand why this book is technically a horror story disguised as a children's novel, and why Ron really should have just transferred to Durmstrang for his own safety. All right, grab your wands and your emotional support broomsticks. It's time to dive back into Hogwarts. We pick up during Harry's summer holidays, or as he calls it, the annual Dursley torture experience. He's basically a prisoner in his own home, treated worse than the Wi-Fi signal in the cupboard under the stairs. Then in pops Dobby, a tiny house elf who looks like a wet sock that learned anxiety. He warns Harry not to return to Hogwarts because terrible things will happen, which is weird because terrible things are literally Hogwarts brand. When Harry ignores him, Dobby throws a tantrum that ends with Harry getting blamed for doing magic. This gets Harry locked up by the Dursleys, who are so proud of themselves they might as well have built Azkaban in the living room. Enter Ron Weasley, the human embodiment of good intentions, bad execution. He shows up in a flying car, driven by his brothers Fred and George, looking like three toddlers who found the car keys. They rescue Harry in the most dramatic way possible, ripping off his window bars like they're auditioning for Fast and Furious Diagon Drift. They take him back to the Burrow, the Weasley family home, which looks like it was built entirely on the phrase, "That'll probably hold." Mrs. Weasley scolds them all, proving that yelling at your kids in front of their friends is a universal human experience, even in households with pet gnomes. September rolls around and Harry and Ron try to get to the train through the magical barrier, except it closes. Unable to reach the platform, Harry and Ron make the obvious choice, Grand Theft Auto. Instead of, asking for help, they steal Mr. Weasley's car again and fly it to Hogwarts in broad daylight because subtlety is for muggles. And after a few close calls, they crash into the Whomping Willow because apparently even Hogwarts' landscaping department hates children. The car yeets them out, Ron's wand breaks, and the car drives off to live its best life in the Forbidden Forest. Ron's broken wand, though, does McGonagall fix it? Does Dumbledore provide a replacement? Does literally any adult help? Nope. Ron just suffers for 10 months with a wand held together with spellotape because apparently supporting the ginger kid isn't in the budget. Once back at Hogwarts, everyone pretends it's business as usual, despite the fact that, oh yeah, someone wrote a message on the wall in blood. The Chamber of Secrets has been opened. Enemies of the heir, beware. Nothing suspicious about that. Just another Tuesday at the world's most dangerous boarding school. Then students start getting petrified. They're frozen solid, like someone paused them on mid-scream. Everyone's freaked out, especially when they find out the last time this happened, a girl died. Naturally, instead of sending everyone home, Dumbledore says, nah, vibes are fine. Enter Professor Gilderoy Lockhart, the new defense against the dark arts teacher. He's charming, famous, and has teeth so white they could signal airplanes. He's also completely useless. His greatest skill is self-promotion. If Hogwarts had Instagram, Lockhart would post selfies captioned #blessed, #chosen1, #no dark arts. Just vibes. He constantly humiliates Harry by comparing their fame, and the man flirts with every sentient being on campus, except Snape, because Snape looks like he eats flirtation for breakfast. One day, Harry discovers he can talk to snakes because nothing screams trustworthy hero like hissing at reptiles in front of your classmates. Everyone starts thinking Harry's the heir of Slytherin. Hermione tries to defend him, but Ron's just standing there, gingerly panicking. Seriously, Ron contributes about as much to this mystery as his broken wand, which, by the way, keeps backfiring like he brought it from Temu. Oh, and by the way, if you're still here and haven't been petrified by a basilisk, make sure to subscribe, because next time we're diving into Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, featuring time travel, werewolves, and yet another year where Ron's life falls apart for our entertainment. So Hagrid gets arrested and taken to Azkaban. Before leaving, he cryptically tells Harry, "Follow the spiders." Thanks, Hagrid. Super helpful, very specific. Harry and Ron follow spiders into the Forbidden Forest, a place banned to students because it's full of things that eat humans. They discover Aragog and a colony of acromantulas the size of small cars. The spiders immediately announce they're going to eat them, just straight up, "Yeah, we're going to kill you now." Ron, who has severe arachnophobia, is surrounded by his literal worst nightmare, thousands of giant spiders, while armed only with a broken wand and the natural camouflage of his bright ginger hair. They only escape because the Ford Anglia shows up like a feral guardian angel, honking and saving them at the last second. Also, two 12-year-old students disappear into a deadly forest for hours and not a single adult notices. The security at Hogwarts is definitely questionable. Then Harry finds a mysterious diary because nothing suspicious ever comes from magical stationery. It belonged to Tom Riddle, a student from 50 years ago. The diary literally writes back, which is like the Wizarding World's equivalent of sliding into your own DMs. Tom's ghostly flashback reveals that Hagrid was blamed for opening the chamber back then because apparently Hogwarts runs on 0 background checks. Eventually, Hermione gets petrified too. Tragic, but at least she won't have to deal with Ron's jokes for a while. Harry and Ron visit Moaning Myrtle, the ghost who died last time the chamber was opened. She lives in a toilet, cries constantly, and still manages to have more of a social life than Draco. Myrtle reveals she died when she saw a pair of big yellow eyes, and that the entrance to the chamber is right there in her bathroom. So yes, Salazar Slytherin, one of the 4 founders of Hogwarts, decided the best location for his secret legacy was a girl's toilet. Very dignified, very founder-like. When Ginny Weasley, Ron's little sister and the world's most awkward crush holder, gets taken into the chamber, Harry and Ron rush in with Lockhart, who promptly tries to wipe their memories. It backfires thanks to Ron's wand, and Lockhart erases his own brain. Honestly, best thing he's ever done. Harry enters the chamber while Ron gets stuck behind a collapsed ceiling. Once again, the ginger kid is sidelined while the main character does the actual heroics. Inside, Harry finds Tom Riddle, who dramatically reveals he's the teenage version of Voldemort. Yes, that's right. The greatest dark wizard ever was once a moody teen, journaling his feelings in a magic diary, so essentially therapy could have solved the entire series. Riddle releases the basilisk, a massive, deadly snake that kills with one look. And Harry's like, "Cool, I didn't want a normal childhood anyway." Harry, with 0 plan and 100% adrenaline, prepares to die, but Dumbledore's Phoenix Forks flies in, blinds the snake, and drops the sorting hat. Out of the hat, Harry pulls the sword of Gryffindor. Very convenient, except for Ron, who still doesn't get an emergency wand upgrade. Tough luck, Ginge. He slays the basilisk in an epic showdown, gets bitten, nearly dies, but Fawkes saves him with his tears. But where was Fawkes during the previous 10 months of attacks? Just chilling in Dumbledore's office, waiting for the most dramatic moment possible. Should I help now? Nah, let a few more kids get petrified first. Timing is everything. Harry stabs the diary with a fang, vaporizing Riddle, saving Ginny, and ensuring therapy bills for everyone else. Back upstairs, Harry exposes Lucius Malfoy for giving Ginny the diary. Harry also manages to trick Lucius into freeing Dobby by hiding the destroyed diary in a sock, which Lucius then tosses to Dobby. Apparently, the entire house elf slavery system can be dismantled through creative laundry management. Dobby's overjoyed, Lucius is furious, and Harry's probably grounded by every adult in the building. Everyone unpetrifies. The feast is back on, and Hagrid returns from wizard jail like it's a surprise party. Dumbledore gives one of his classic, mildly concerned, but mostly poetic speeches, and everyone cheers as if they didn't just survive another near-death semester. So, to recap, Harry fought a snake the size of a bus, Ron broke everything he touched, Hermione carried the entire team from a hospital bed, and Dumbledore did nothing. Again, truly inspiring leadership. And that's Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, the book that taught us the real villain is poor health and safety standards. Now let me know in the comments, if you could open a secret chamber at Hogwarts, what would be inside? Best answer gets pinned. Bonus points if it's more broken than Ron's wand. See all you Potterheads in the next one. Goodbye.